All right, everybody, what's going on? Back with another video. Hopefully everybody is having a fantastic day. It is cool over here, not too bad. It is raining, but it's not stopping me to be on the road. You know how it goes, life of a trucker. It is what it is, but nevertheless, we are going to talk some more gaming stuff. So if this is your first time to the channel, I welcome you. I cannot thank you enough for clicking on this video. Over here we talk about gaming and everything under the umbrella. Do definitely plan on going live this weekend. Saturdays I try to go live around 9:30 every Saturday morning, and I think I'm going to start going live more often because I have the time actually to do so. But I'm trying to set some type of a baby step, and I want to start taking that baby steps before I go live more often, so be on the lookout for that. Nevertheless, let's talk about some Shadowdrop and why do I think that games and the advertisement of games should be Shadowdrop more. I believe that this should be the case because it kind of keeps the excitement more relevant. The excitement is more genuine when things are shadow dropped, and a lot of negativity when some things are kind of curtailed. Now, do some games do deserve negativity? Yes, I absolutely believe that they should, especially when they aren't released in the right, sense. There are some downfalls to this as well, and I know some people are probably thinking that already, and we're going to discuss that as well. But I think the fact that things are shadow dropped, and you've seen this happen lately, it caused a lot of excitement and a lot of positivity in the gaming community. Look at Oblivion Remastered, that was shadow dropped. Look at the way that Grand Theft Auto, their recent trailer that just dropped, that was shadow drop. Nobody knew that this stuff was coming. There was no press, no news on any of those two, and this should be more of the norm. A lot of companies are spending more money on advertisement just for a lot of that stuff to get torn down, but some of that stuff is warranted. Like I said, there are some downfalls to this. Some people could be shadow dropping some BS, and people aren't necessarily keen to what's going on with these games, or whatever the case may be, and they just buy them because they're shadow dropped, and then a patch is needed and this, that, and the third. Or sometimes the advertisement could be absolutely false. So yeah, there's ways that things can get completely carried away. So anybody who's already typed that in the comment section, I totally understand that side of this. I do. At the same time, I'm going to combat that with this. We need more betas. We need more beta builds. We need more, hell, in some cases, even alpha builds. We need those things. We need some more demos that actually need to be dropped in the place of the advertisement. I'm tired of looking at vertical slices. I'm tired of looking at things that just look good for the moment and the rest of the game is crap. So if these companies are more inclined to put demos out and then have a shadow release on a product, I think that will bode well for the gamer and the company. I think it is much cheaper to put demos out there instead of putting out a bunch of advertisement, because a lot of these games are really being held behind or held back due to the advertisement. Some advertisement, some pushing of the press is really, really expensive, and some of that stuff can go to development costs, because at the end of the day, you will have a better game if you was to do that instead of trying to show us what you're trying to put out, instead of actually letting us have a taste of what you're putting out and give you proper feedback, instead of people looking at trailers and breaking down stuff and being super duper hyped, and those games don't necessarily be warranted for the hype, or in some cases, some games are just flat out lying to you. So I am a big fan of shadow dropping for the sense of just having more hype and excitement, and to be honest, it will keep some companies actually honest if they were to shadow drop games on top of actually putting out correct demos for certain games. I think this is a fantastic look if that was the case. I don't know who came up with the idea. I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one that thought about this, but more shadow drops would be a good thing in my opinion. It would keep companies in the dark so they can focus on their games and not worry about these companies pushing out advertisements. Oh, we need this part of the game, looks really good, so do that, and we'll put it out on a trailer, and then when you get the game is not even close, or in some cases just close enough that is what the advertisement looked like, and it just needs a patch. No, let's just shadow drop this stuff, patch it, make it work until it is released and everything is good. So I'm not saying every game should be this way, but I'm starting to get to the point where the majority of games probably need this in their lives. And you get better fan service this way. And then sometimes the element of surprise does give fans a really good feeling when they are playing certain games. I mean, a lot of people are really feeling awesome about the Oblivion game. A lot of people are really feeling awesome about the trailer because it came out of nowhere. The element of surprise does give a lot of fans some type of relief there, and it gives them some type of sense of happiness when they do get these type of releases this way. Like, oh my God, a Shadowdrop, oh man, they just gave us DLC out of nowhere. And even in some cases, even if the DLC is not the best, or even if the game is not the best, the fact that it was Shadowdropped and it was put out in that fashion, nobody doesn't feel like they're ripped off or anything. They don't feel like that the game is in, a really that bad of a game because they wasn't sold on a dream. Some people accept games for what they, and this is another thing. And when you go back to games back in the day when we really didn't have like all this advertisement in certain games, you also realize that back in the day, you didn't necessarily have like full-fledged advertisement. You just had like a magazine. You had to go to GamePro. You had to go to EGM. You had to go to Nintendo Power to learn about certain games. And the hype was based on your imagination, or based on what you saw in the magazine. Now with trailers, YouTube, all forms of other social media, you're basically getting the game, but there's nothing left to the imagination. You already know what type of game you're getting. And at the end of the day, sometimes when you think you're getting some game based on a trailer or whatever you see on social media, and it's not turned out the way it needs to be, or not turned out the way it is shown, you lose a lot of bad faith. I mean, you lose a lot of good faith and gain a lot of bad faith with the customer, with fellow gamers, with your clientele. So this is why I think, like, you know what? I understand some trailers are going to be out and some trailers are going to push, things that are really cool for the community or the set of gamers. But at the same time, I feel like when you Shadowdrop stuff, it really bodes well for the collective. A lot of people are really, hyped about Shadowdropped games. I mean, I've noticed that for the past, few times that games were Shadowdropped. I mean, that's just how it is. Or when certain, trailers or information is just dropped out the blue, and you get those type of things in that, and it really gives out a sense of, excitement that you really, that you really get. Like, I think, what was it? The last thing that was like Shadowdrop. I remember when Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 was Shadowdrop for the PlayStation 4. You get these other things like Nintendo does this during their Nintendo Direct. They will drop something as soon as you see it on their Nintendo Direct. Those things, it bleeds a lot of excitement. I think, was it, I want to say Ninja Gaiden Black 2 or Ninja Gaiden 2 Black was Shadowdropped. And look how well that was received. I don't know. Y'all let me know what y'all think. I think shadow dropping should be more of a thing. I really do. I think those type of things are really cool. It really, I don't know. I just can't explain it. It gives off a really great level of excitement that you just can't, explain. But ever since I've seen Shadowdrops happen, it's always been positive. I haven't seen a negative one as of late. Maybe I'm wrong. I mean, you guys will know better than I would. But y'all let me know. I'm going to get up out of here, and y'all take it easy, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Oh, yeah. Saturday, we're going to go live, 9:30, 9 o'clock in the morning. Y'all guys come through, and I plan on going live more often so you guys can interact with me more. All right, y'all. I'm out. Peace.